Or look at another measure, the percentage of all jobs in a region within 10 miles of the central business district. This is a sprawl measurement. Seattle comes in 10th worst of the 45 largest US cities. As I read Seattle history in the last 75 years, we tend to get stuck in inertia and to rest on our oars, and then along comes a jolt that pushes us forward dramatically. Our version of evolution is more like punctuated equilibrium, where we jump to a new plateau suddenly. One example was the World's Fair in '62, which announced that Seattle was a city of consequence, of national consequence. Another was Jim Ellis's Forward Thrust campaign, first announced at this Rotary Club. And it found a way to solve some of our regional problems with better funded, more modern government. But what can provide the jolt this time? I don't think Seattle's political leadership can do it, since the city has become such an outlier compared to the rest of the region. But I do think that the brain power of the innovation economy in this region and the state can do it. Not that they listen to me, but I would encourage a group of the boldest and the brightest spontaneously to form a diverse and relatively small task force to put forth a breakthrough strategic plan for the state. They would figure out good ways of collecting public suggestions using new media, gathering off-the-wall ideas, as well as new ways of engaging the public. Members should not be civic elders or those with a political agenda, and there should be numerous foreign-born entrepreneurs, the mainstay of the new economy. You want people in there who know how to think strategically about major issues and problems. The folks who have taught the world how to read books in a new way, how to address global health problems, how to build and then rebuild a world of coffee shops. Game changers. People like Bill Gates or Lee Hood, Nathan Merville, or Jim Sinegal. Do the report, release the report, and then watch what happens as the various interests cope with it. But do the report first. Get trenchant, long-range thinking on the table. And here are some of the big issues that I would hope this group would consider and suggest solutions, real solutions for. First, taxes. We have an inequitable and unstable system of state taxes that seriously underfunds our schools, our universities, our cities, and our infrastructure. Part of this challenge is looking at our public pension liabilities unblinkingly, as few other states have had the courage to do. So see the problem and have the funding to deal with it. Second, Boeing. Boeing is drifting away from this state, and surely we need to have some kind of accommodation with Boeing's leadership. The next jetliner, the replacement for the 757, is unlikely to be built in this state. Boeing now has nobody from this state on its board. Can we talk? Third, trade and Asia. Our ports are facing serious threats from Canada and the wider Panama Canal, and we don't have ways of solving the roads and rail infrastructure bottlenecks. China is an enormous opportunity of the next decades, so how can we reorient our trade that way? One opportunity might be joint ventures in green technology and advanced technology urban systems, where China is becoming a leader. Fourth, biotech, global health, and the University of Washington. One of Mayor Nichols' major feats was enabling the U with Vulcan to build a research campus in South Lake Union, a kind of Stanford Research Park. The two campuses need to be connected by streetcar, bike lanes, and made into an enlarged university district, research zone, with special zoning and incentives. It can also be a community for global health and humanitarian organizations anchored by the Gates Foundation. And we need to figure out a new paradigm for supporting a major research university, since the state legislature just isn't going to do it. 5, tapping the philanthropic wealth. Great wealth has been generated in this region, but it is mostly going to global causes and other regions. If you make a local idea compelling enough, like the sculpture park, you can hold more of this philanthropic wealth, but that means raising the bar, lifting our game, revitalizing nonprofit boards and leadership. 6, post-carbon technology. The whole state ought to be brought into this opportunity with ways to incubate new ideas and provide public sector markets to give these startups early revenue. 7, global positioning. This region plays in the global marketplace and is dependent on its ability to draw high talent, high ambition individuals here. So where is our Aspen Institute, our Montreal International Jazz Festival, our Amsterdam Documentary Film Festival, to mark us out at the very top of something significant in the world, something significant in what we do here. 8, importing talent and retaining it. The major asset of our region is its ability to attract high-powered talent drawn here by the good living and the opportunities for significant work at companies performing on a global stage with compensation to match. How do we spread a magnetic field across the state and create new hotspots for new companies? Maybe the panel would fall to bickering or only come up with answers in a few areas. Maybe a suspicious public would feel patronized or resent the suggestions of an elite group. Even so, it would get the innovation economy into the civic game, make them focus on the place where they live. If they're so smart, let's see their best stuff. Would we get to a new foundation? Well, we have a terrific foundation in this region, a diversified, globalized, contemporary economy built on knowledge, innovation, and a caring citizenry. We don't need a new foundation. We need a way to aim higher. We need a new springboard. Thank you very much.
We have a couple of questions. I think that was a beautiful presentation. It reminds me of the discussion over the Chihuly exhibit at Seattle Center. It's this beautiful flower that people are just ready to crush as soon as they can. What is it about our conflicted emotional state that people just seem to want to take pot shots at everything? And do you have any suggestions as to how to overcome that sort of conflictedness here in the culture?
One way is to think that this new politics is oppositional. It is what's sometimes called a counter-elite. It's a group of people who are trying to take power from the people who have power. And the Chihuly proposal, coming from a distinguished family with lots of support for that, seems like an establishment proposal and therefore suspect. So it's more intensified than usual. The other thing I would say about Seattle's culture of conflict and debate and so forth is that goes with the territory when you have a lot of smart people. And if you're trained in law school and you're trained in fine universities and so forth, you end up articulate, convinced of how smart you are, and ready to put your hand up. So it's a sign of health. And you see it in major cities all over the world, maybe not totalitarian cities, not. But I would say this is that there's a way in which Seattle Center, the